The election results of 2024 appear to have brought back the era of coalition governments in India. The BJP, which has fallen well short of the halfway mark at 240 seats in the parliament, is now dependent on its NDA allies to form the government. After 10 years of the Modi government, which managed to rule with a brute majority, India's politics appears to be on the cusp of a new direction. But how different will things be in this new era of Indian governance? To discuss this, we're now being joined by Dr. Shashi Tharoor, a prominent leader of the Congress party, who is joining us live on this broadcast. Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Tharoor. Let me begin by asking you, the BJP-led NDA has got a clear majority, even though the BJP on its own is well short of the halfway mark. How different do you think the Modi government will be this time?
The fact that they do not have a majority in the Lok Sabha and they can only govern at the sufferance of the allies is a new thing for them. Mr. Modi has been used to having his own way. He was able to impose demonetization without even consulting his cabinet, let alone his finance minister. He was able to announce the COVID lockdown, the most stringent in the world, at a few hours' notice without consulting anybody, including state chief ministers who had to implement it. This is a man and a government that's used to getting its own way without bothering to consult anybody. Suddenly, they're going to have to realize that they can't pass a single piece of legislation without getting several allied parties on board. They can't pass their budget without getting the allies on board. They can't take any major policy initiatives without getting their allies on board. It's going to be a very different BJP government that we're facing. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they manage to perform after the kind of style of governance we've seen for the last 10 years.
Dr. Tharoor, do you think we are again back to the era of coalition politics? Are coalition governments good for a healthy and stable democracy, you think?
Mr. Narasimha Rao had a minority government with outside support. Mr. Vajpayee had, all the governments, Deve Gowda's government, the government of Inder Gujral, and then Vajpayee Saab's two governments were all coalition governments with levels of outside support. And then Dr. Manmohan Singh's was a coalition government too. And they collectively presided over the best years for the Indian economy. So very clearly, there's been no problem with coalition governments. Secondly, yes, coalition governments risk falling if you don't actually keep everyone happy within them. But if you do keep everyone happy and you are accommodative and conciliatory, as Mr. Vajpayee was in his second government and as the Congress party Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh was in his two governments, then you've got a winning formula which is far more democratic in its appeal to people than the formula of my way or the highway, which is what we've seen from Mr. Modi.
Dr. Shashi Tharoor, thank you very much for talking to WION World is One today. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.